Hello, apa kabar semuanya? My name is Vincent and welcome back to Lesson 5, Basic Pattern for Data Analytics, in which that we are going to talk about social media trend, in particular Twitter and big data and all of the media that surrounds it. So, the theme of today's topic is world data at your fingertips. Fingertips? Oh, this, yeah, something like that. So just before we move on to our lessons, there are two things that I need to talk about. First of all, I would like to apologize for the delay. It has been very busy weeks for this semester, and I'm also helping out my friends to organize some analytics club in Singapore Management University, and we have some plans going around, new excos coming, and I'm also planning to organize some workshops with them. So definitely it's a very busy weeks to organize all this stuff apart from the schoolwork. But I hope that I could keep in touch with you guys and maybe like release more courses within these few weeks. Okay? So that's a bit of promise to me. I will learn and give you more lessons. Um, and also the second thing I would like to talk about is that if you find the sound quality is different today, well, that is because that I have this new microphone tools. So I borrowed it from a friend because there was a bit of like complaints and feedbacks that the sound quality is not good enough in the previous videos. So that's why I bought it, and I hope that it is nicer for you guys. Okay? So now let's just move on to what we are going to do. Well, in the previous weeks, we have done stocks prediction and predicting employee retentions. Now we are at the week 3, which is social media trends, Twitter, media, and big data. Alright? So moving on is that the topic of today is that we are going to predict presidential election. If you know that in 2016, just last, I think around November, December, that was the end of the presidential election in USA, especially amongst Trump, Hillary, and other presidential candidates. So now in this term, maybe we can talk about how we can use Twitter data in order to find a little bit of insights of what the result could have been. Well, we have the hindsight now that, oh, the result is that Trump won. But let's just try and see the analysis step by step. Okay? Alright. So the first thing that you need to do is that we are going to create a Twitter account. So Twitter developer account in which that you can tap on some of the resources. And then second thing that you can do is that you can initialize the connections and then extracting all these values one by one. And also after that, we are going to learn how to explore this data. And we are going to do two important techniques for today, which is first of all, sentimental analysis, and second is the topic analysis. And afterwards, we're going to talk about some challenges. Yeah, so that, sorry for the interruptions. There was somebody that they thought they were using the rooms, but I reserved this room in the first place. So, okay, moving on is that we have sentimental analysis and topic analysis. So these are two important techniques that I'm going to show you how you can further explore this data even better. Okay, I'm going to explain to you next in the few next slides. And finally, we're going to talk about the challenges, something that you can do to improve our explorations. Okay, so the case learning, as you know, is that Trump versus Hillary, and then we are going to check on Twitter analysis in order to find out the features and possibly maybe get more insights about what the presidential election might have been. Okay? Right. And the technical learning that we are going to do in here is that first of all, Twitter extraction. Second is sentimental analysis, and finally topic analysis. So for the Twitter extractions, we are going to use Twitter developers. So as you can see, it's a Twitter platforms that is open for everyone to use to extract the data. It's very simple. All you need to do is to use Tweepy extension of Python, and then you can extract it right away. A little bit of catch though, like when I was making this website, this project, I realized that there has been some restrictions. So the restrictions is that you cannot you need to pay in order to use historical data. So if I'm not wrong, the bench, the line is within 2 weeks. So you can only like use and extract the data 2 weeks from before. So it's hard for me because I needed to buy the data in November 2016 in order to really find out the analysis. But since today we are going to talk more about the tutorials on how you could do that, so I'm actually using the data like around January and February. So hopefully that this still could give you some impacts of how to predict presidential analysis, and then we'll see how. So this is just a little bit of setbacks of this course. So if you are still interested, then feel free to just join. But if you are not, then I also have a link that you can go through by other people, other Pythoners that they are going through presidential election data. Alright? Okay. So now for the sentimental analysis, for this case, we are going to use TextBlob. So TextBlob is a Python library to process textual data. And it does all different kinds of things with the words and the text. And it does like doing list of bagging, sentimental analysis. I'm going to explain to you more about it, okay? So the first thing of all is that if you're going to talk about sentimental analysis, what is that? It means that you are assigning a certain value of happiness or sadness to a list of words, which is called, you may call it a sentence or you may call it a review, but it's a document in a very nice term. Okay, so it's a document, and documents is a list of words for one corp. So it's a one part. Okay, and then you are trying to assign this value of one part, you're trying to assign the value of this one part, you're trying to assign the value of this one part, and you keep going on and so on. And then you create sentimental analysis of each part. Alright? So how it works, if you see here, is that first of all we have review stacks, also called documents. Alright? Then we find out what are the sentences of these documents. We split them down to bag of words. So bag of words meaning the counts of words of each sentence, and maybe combined together of different sentences. Alright? Then afterwards we put opinion lexicon. So what is lexicon? Lexicon is basically a database, a dictionary that holds the list of the words with the possible sentimental values. Okay? And afterwards there's a scoring functions in which TextBlob already does it for us very nicely using averaging term. Alright? And we come up with the sentiment score. So same thing in the right side here is another representation, is that first of all we tokenize the tweets. So tokenize meaning that we are creating bags of words. So what words are there? And then we are going to stem it. I'm going to explain to you about stemming more, but basically it's sort of like cleaning operations like sleep, slap, present, past verbs, which are the same meaning but it's just grammar. Okay, so it has the kind of dictionary to identify that, or word stemming per se. Okay, and afterwards you need to calculate the weight, in which that the weight is linked to a lexicon, again the dictionary, and afterwards it comes up with the weights. So you see here positive, neutral, and negative. Okay, so that's how we assign it, and we assign sentimental values per Twitter reviews. Okay. Alright, then the second one that is good to do is topic analysis. So I keep asking my friends, especially those that work in marketing sectors and social media sectors, what do they use if they want to find some trends? Well, they just eyeball it. Eyeball all the 1,000 different reviews of Twitter. But the thing is that you cannot just eyeball it. Like, sometimes it's too big. I mean, imagine if you have 1 million, are you going to eyeball and see the whole things and then try to use some notebooks to identify? Well, it might not be the case, but actually there's a way to automate that, which is using topic analysis. Alright? So in this sector, we are going to learn about NMF, non-negative metric factorizations. So this resembles LDA, latent distributed allocations. I'm going to explain you more how it works. So what it does is that from the bags of words, frequency of words, we can find out dominant topics. Okay, just like this word cloud over there about ice cream and cookie dough. maybe we can do that instead of just frequencies. Alright. Okay, so what is LDA? So I learned this from a Quora, so you can just tap on the the link there. I think it's very useful. But basically how it works is that, imagine if you have a set of data, you don't know whether this is red or blue, by the way, or maybe or maybe you do know, but what you're doing is that you're trying to separating this data by a line, okay? And this is a generative data, so it uses all the different kinds of data points. It's a little bit of different to SVM, which I might have talked about in the previous lesson. But anyway, it's a lot of technical terms, but just think about it as a line that separates groups or classes, okay, between red and blue. Alright, so the next time there's a point that's here, you can assume that it's a red, something like that. Alright, so clusters, so you can say clusters. So how does it work? Well, NMF works the same way, but NMF is good for matrix related data sets. So for this topic analysis, clustering problem is very good because it allows you to check the terms and documents, and then from there like come up with the dominant topics for each term and what topics there are. So it's a part of the clustering topic also. Alright, so basically this is what it does. If you're too lazy to highlight things, for example in your textbook for your university, then you can use these topic analysis methods. So what it does is that it checks all these different sentences at different documents, and from these sentences it sees what are the recurring topics. And you can see here there are lists of the backs of words, okay, the blue color, yellow color, red color, and then it does sort of like IDF, so it's the document frequencies, okay, infers document frequencies. It's another term to say how important a certain term, word, sorry, pun intended there, is, okay. So if you see here, then you see, oh, topics these are recurring topics, then what are the kinds of like combinations of sets there are, okay. So moving on, let me just show you the iPattern notebook. So let me go through this. Alright, so I open this up. So we are going to set up the Twitter developer accounts, as you see here. And we are going to test out the connections. We are going to try a little bit of our Twitter, what we can do with it. And this is one of the key terms, which is to extract presidential election tweets, okay? And afterwards, we are going to read and prepare all this data. And after that, we try to extract a bit, explore a bit about the languages, see, and then the relevant posts for each candidate. So we are going to use word in text. We are going to define our own methods, okay, and afterwards we are going to count all of these presidential candidates, and furthermore we are going to explore these trends. We are going to make a count for each state, a little bit of time series analysis, and after that we are going to talk about sentimental analysis, so polarity and subjectivity here. So after that we plot out like how people are happy or unhappy with Hillary and Trump. And we can talk about like the news media, like how news media portray them, okay? So CNN, Fox News, New York Times, and so on. And afterwards, we are going to talk about topic extractions. So this is one of the most important thing, in which that we have highlighted 8 different topics, okay? And afterwards, we are going to visualize them, like which topics are the reoccurring topics, okay? And afterwards, we do it by time, alright? So hopefully this is something that you can learn and you can use even in business. Definitely it's a useful terms, but I hope that you can learn a lot from it, and see you at the step-by-step tutorial. And see you at the next lesson. The next lesson will be for operations management. With that, thank you so much, sampai jumpa, and goodbye.